Hey, what's up, guys? It's Apollo here, back with a new story. And yeah, guys, today's story is a bit of real, and this kind of paranormal activity occurred with my friend and his family. And with his consent, I'm uploading this on YouTube. I'm not going to reveal his real name, but yeah, I will refer to him as John, okay? So if you like it, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And comment down below if you have any real haunted stories you want me to tell, and I'll give you a shout out as well at that. Without further ado, let's begin our story. It was the year of 2008. My friend John's maternal grandmother's family moved to a 60 years old villa. They rented it, of course, and it consisted of four portions and a rooftop with a single room. It was a huge house, and the second and the second and the fourth portion was abandoned. They were locked by the owner of the house, and they were only allowed to live in the ground floor, the first one, and the third one, only using a single room and bathroom there, and nothing else. Every other room was locked, and it was covered by spider webs so thick that you can't even see through them, and a lot of dust. Now there was a huge staircase between that third portion and first portion. It will take an old person to climb that stairs up to 5 to 6 minutes, and a young man while running up to 2 to 3 minutes. And when they moved in, there was nothing much of trouble. They were living carefree, and there was nothing of that sort. One of his aunties decided that she wanted to move up to the third floor because she wanted some privacy for her own God's sake. And she, her husband, and her single daughter of 2 years old at the time moved up to the third floor, while the rest of their family remained at the ground floor. Now, the first 2 months, nothing much happened. But one day, when at night at 12 p.m., his cousin sister was going upstairs to their auntie's room to deliver some blankets to them. It was a cold winter night. It was December's month of 2008. And as she was coming down the shadowy dark staircase, she saw that a dark figure that seemed like a man was sitting in stairways, facing his back towards her. She stopped in her tracks. She was kind of afraid. She didn't know who he was. She couldn't see his face properly. And the sad man started to stand up and look towards her, and she was horrified to her core. The face was completely blank. The figure was complete, filled with darkness and nothing else. As she started to run away, the said figure grabbed her by the leg and started to pull her towards itself. She started to pray towards God, reciting as the figure let her go. She then ran straight towards the ground floor. As she did, she was already bruised down the leg, and she started to scream and yell for her family to come. As did their family came, they asked what had happened. They said Then she said that she saw a shadowy figure, but no one obviously believed her. And the curious thing was that the aunt of hers that lived on the third floor didn't even listen to her cries at all, meaning that nobody could heard what was happening or going on at the third floor. She was the only person living there. And as the time went by, people started to notice some paranormal activities in that house, meaning their foodware, their utensils would fall off of their kitchen cabinet. People will hear their names called in the name by the voices of their loved ones, but when they arrive at the place, no one was there, light flickering, and so on. But that didn't bother them that much until one night when her aunt that lived on the upper level was at the rooftop. And when she was at there, it was 10 a.m. in the morning, and she suddenly heard her daughter's voice. She heard her call, "Mom, come down, I need your help." As she arrived at the room, no one was there. She became horrified, and then she realized something that she totally missed out. Her daughter was at her school at the time. You see, her school timing was 8 a.m. to 12 and a half. And how could she possibly be here when she sent her with her own hands to school? Now she became terrified and packed her stuff and went back to her own home and lived there for 1 year, as he worded out. And as for the ground floor people, the whole three upper floors were abandoned. And then came the time that her grandmother was one day going to the roof to do some laundry. And while she was at the top floor, she opened the door of the rooftop, and there in front of her, in broad daylight, was a giant figure of the same shadowy man that her cousin sister saw. And the said old lady just dropped the clothes there and rushed as fast as she could downstairs while screaming and calling for help. And all of her family members gathered. And then they realized that how much deep trouble they were. And then they thought that it would be the best idea to contact some kind of priest or someone with some knowledge regarding these things. And they did. And the said person came and informed them that in that villa lived five Christian ghosts, or you can say jinns, that were Christian in religions. It's hard to believe, but there are some ghosts that follow religion. Some are Muslim, some are atheist, and some are even Christian. And anyways, back to the story. And when they came to realize this, and she asked if there is any way that they could be freed from them, the priest said that there is one way. Don't bother them and don't go up to the upper floors if you want to live here, or don't open any of the doors. But that had been already been too late, as the husband of the said aunt that left the third floor was still at the same room, and he had opened one of the rooms and found black doll with knitted with black thread and some needles stabbed into it, and thought nothing of it as he tossed it around like he did it. And when the old lady came to know that it was already too late, the hauntings became so much that from the ground floor they shifted into a single room, the whole family. At night, they will feel as someone is dragging their feet chained to a huge metal block, dragging it alongside them. They will hear wailing and screaming upon the second floors, and sometimes even laughter, sometimes even some children running around. And how does John know of this? Well, it was a marriage ceremony of one of his cousin sisters that lived in that house, and they were sleeping in the same room. And his eyes opened, and he saw something he was downright terrified of. He saw a small, pale child run on all of his fours towards the stairs and up straight to the second portion. While the child was running, the child stopped mid-stairs and stared directly at him. The child had red, blooded eyes that scared him to the core. He still says he can't sleep when he thinks about that. And when I heard this story from him, I can honestly tell that I had shiver ran down my spines. I had goosebumps. So yeah, guys, that was the story. I hope you liked it, and if you do, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more real horror stories. And if you have some horror stories of your own, comment down below and just like write down in comments, and I might try to recite them to you as well while giving a shout out. This is Apollo Stories, and I'm signing out. Peace.